All right, we should be live now. What's up, everybody? Sunday morning, MLB. We're going to fly through this bad boy quick, and hopefully everybody has a great weekend day.
Yeah, we got a couple games canceled already, which makes it a little bit easier for us. And, yeah, excited to talk this one out.
Yeah, no Boston, no New York, as I'm sure you guys know about. And then Atlanta, Baltimore is kind of in the middle as far as like being a yellow-orange. Wasn't really too intrigued with the pitchers right there anyway, so I think that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in Tukey, but
Okay.
we'll just wait and see on that.
A lot of really mediocre options, in my opinion, for pitching today. So it looks like the chalk build is MATZ and Hernandez in order for people to spend up on the Blue Jays. So naturally, I guess anything you do differently today is going to be a touch contrarian.
Yeah, it looks like MATZ, Hernandez, Wainwright, and Valdez are getting all the
love. I like Wainwright personally. Day game at home, kind of the place I like to use him. I don't expect the monster upside we saw against Pittsburgh the other day where he got a 42 spot, but I do think into the 20s is a pretty reasonable expectation today. I think overall he's probably my safest play and my favorite. I'm sure I'll end up using him.
Yeah, hard not to like him here. There's just not good options. That's the whole thing. There's just not good options.
Yeah, I think I don't hate Reynaldo Lopez, and we know he's not obviously on a monster count, but he has been fantastic this season.
Yeah, this is definitely one I could see using Lopez or using some Tampa.
Yeah, he's been wonderful. I don't think we think he's all of a sudden just the best pitcher of all time, but we've seen him get blown up in the past, no doubt about it. Tampa's really good.
Definitely,
I wish he had a few more pitches.
On paper, I definitely lean Lopez. But Tampa's one of these teams now, like, they're not quite, Toronto or those teams, but they're close. Like, they're in play almost every day, even if a pitcher they're facing is in play. So I definitely lean Lopez, but just wanted to throw that out about Tampa.
Yep. I'm totally on board the MATZ fade today in GPPs. I think he's going to be way too popular. He never really deserves to me to be the most popular pitcher on the slate.
I agree, man. Honestly, I'm feeling the fade of MATZ and Hernandez. Like, Hernandez had been pretty good. Hernandez had been pretty good, but, he's more – I think, he's not the 22 point per game guy. Like, I'm shocked he's getting so much love. Him getting love makes me want to stack the Cubs.
I probably won't stack the Cubs, but I won't use him. I mean, I think he's only getting love so people can play Toronto because they're expensive.
I agree with that. And that's like, we talk about, do you want to stack against like a Jacob deGrom? Never, even when those guys are coming as chalk. But when guys like MATZ or Hernandez are coming in as really chalky, then I'm interested in using bats against them.
Definitely. We're going to run through offenses really quickly, and then it'll give us a better idea where we're going to be as far as money goes, and we'll retouch on pitching at the end. The Atlanta versus Baltimore game. Atlanta also, from an offensive perspective, like Means has been a little rough the last couple times out, but I respect him. They look like, to me, they're getting too much love today, too. So I'll probably stay away from both of the chalkier offenses. Not that I don't think Toronto's in a great spot, but like I'm just going to hope they're only mediocre today.
Yeah, definitely give me Atlanta over Toronto, like as far as their ownerships go. Does look like just as far as like the top stack tool, like Atlanta's double Toronto and Toronto's getting double the ownership. So Atlanta is going to get love, but I don't think quite enough love.
I get that. I respect John Means, but he's looked awful his last few starts.
Yeah, I also respect John Means, and this is one I'm kind of torn on because their lineup is so good, especially against lefties, but they will get love. Like, even though they're going to be under-owned per se, like, they're still going to be popular.
Well, I think we got other offenses, and we'll get to them. I actually started the write-up, and you brought them both up yesterday, and they were really, really good, and they're getting a lot less attention.
Who's that?
I said that I had a couple of offenses you put in the GPP stacks yesterday that both had really good days in Milwaukee and Houston that are getting no attention that I both like.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee and Houston as well. Milwaukee, I think, is my favorite stack on the board.
All right, we'll get to that here momentarily. As far as Toronto goes, look, guys, we're not going to sit here and tell you they're on paper they're not in a great spot. They're a great offense in a great ballpark against a bad pitcher. They are absolutely 100% in play. For me, it's just the fact that if you're playing cash games, get as much Toronto as you can afford. but just the idea that maybe they'll only be all right today, or maybe the less chalky lower half of the lineup does the damage. Maybe a guy like Vlad, he's fine, but 12 points on 6,200 doesn't win you GPPs. The fade simply comes from the fact that they're going to be like 50% owned.
Yeah, it's just like the Yankees from the other day, and sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it won't. But the point is, like, if you stack Toronto here, like even in tournaments, like and they go off, you're probably gonna have a decent day. But to like have a really good day, you're gonna have to like nut everything else. Whereas if you go to a team like we're talking about Milwaukee, Houston, that are lower owned, and they go off, like you're just gonna have an opportunity, a better opportunity to make more money because so many less people is on that team.
I'm also a little intrigued by some Detroit pieces. I probably won't stack them all out, but MATZ is being over-owned. We got really cheap guys right here. Like, let's say you go Valdez, Wainwright for pitching. A guy like Derek Hill leading off at 2K.
Yeah,
Grossman, who's having a nice year.
Give me the Cubs Tiger stack for the win today.
Gotcha. All right. Going back, Miami, Cincinnati. We got Alcantara taking on Gutierrez right here. Gutierrez has been solid. Alcantara is pretty good. I can understand the arguments on either pitcher or either offense, but mostly this just brings me to a spot where I probably don't really do much from this game.
Yeah, same. I could see Gutierrez end up getting love here. He is not good. Like, Miami's not good. He has pitched well, though. Wow. I'm surprised I think he will be popular. Why wouldn't he be?
Yeah, I think he'll get a little love today. Everybody likes to pick on Miami. I know Sonny Gray ended up being really good the other day. I don't think he's as good as the results have been. You can see by the fact he's given up a lot of hits in each of these starts.
I agree with that. I don't think he's nearly as good as the results have been, but I thought he had like a couple good games. I was not expecting 18 plus in his past 5 with 22 plus in 3 of them. I mean, that's impressive. I will say, though, I think it's fluky.
It does. I mean, I haven't watched a bunch of this, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he got into a bunch of bad luck. But the 5, 6, 5, and 9 hits allowed with a couple of walks almost every game leads me to believe that the whip is telling you there'll be some subtle regression.
I think it's just a short sample size thing with him right now.
White Sox against Tampa. We got Chris Archer versus Lopez. Again, I kind of like Lopez a little bit today. I don't know that I'm going to end there, but I do kind of like him. What about the White Sox against Chris Archer, who's been out for many, many hot minutes?
I was definitely thinking about them. Their lineup actually just came out. Looks pretty good today. I was thinking about
them. They're pretty pricey as far as some of their good players go, and mostly Abreu, Anderson, and then Eloy is about 5K as well. So they're not going to be easy to stack, but all the teams getting love today are pretty expensive.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I put Chicago right in that Houston, Milwaukee, and I'll throw Tampa in there also as teams that are really good, really expensive, facing either bad pitchers or, with Lopez, we're not sure what we have with him yet, and Archer. Bad pitchers to unknowns.
Agreed. I kind of like the White Sox now. I just don't think I'm going to end up on them. I don't think they're going to be my top priority, but they're right up there.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so you mentioned you like Milwaukee again today, so let's talk about the man right here. He had started hitting the ball well in St. Louis. We're talking about Christian Yelich, of course, if you're not listening, and he just didn't get a lot to show for it. Rough game with the pinch hit appearance, grounded into a one-pitch double play, and then yesterday he proceeded to go 3 of 5 with one of those outs being an opposite field warning track fly ball. So he homered twice yesterday, big-time home run, stole a base. And now he's coming in today, not getting a ton of attention because of all the high-priced bats on Toronto, et cetera, getting all the love.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee here. I am like, I'm not ready to be like Yelich is back off one good game, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm all of a sudden like, maybe mentally this is exactly what this guy needed. And he's been over-owned all year. We've talked about it. Every day he's chalk, we fade him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today he's not. And he looked like a guy who needed what yesterday was, because it's been a really, really long, rough road for almost 2 years now for Christian. So this is the best he's probably felt in a really, really long time. And Milwaukee's in a pretty good spot today.
Yeah, I like the spot a lot for them. A big 8th inning last night for them where Yelich hit the grand slam. I could definitely see going to Milwaukee, like I said, they're one of, if not my favorite stacks on the board. Interested to see what their lineup looks like today. Yesterday was not a good lineup. I'm worried Yelich is not in the lineup today.
It would be very great counsel to finally get one of your good hitters hot and then take him out, as he's done that like 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of whether it's a scheduled day off or not. I could see it with a lefty on the hill, although this lefty sucks. I mean, he's got.
And there's Taylor's on the IL now, so now they're shorter on outfielders.
All right, well, hopefully he's in there. And I definitely like the stack. I'm sure we'll have Adames, Garcia, Kane, all in there today.
Yeah, probably Manny Pina catching and stuff like that. So let's move over to Houston, and I'm going to give you some credit for something. I like Tyler Anderson a lot more than you do, but today's the day where I'm looking at Houston. You had said 3 or 4 days ago that they looked like a team that was just getting ready to start rolling. Now, they weren't great the day that I liked them. I think they scored 6 runs that day, but they proceeded to average 13.5 runs over the past 2 games. I like Tyler Anderson, but I'm certainly not afraid to pick on him today with the likes of Gurriel, Altuve. You got this kid Jones, who's 2K, had a big night last night, could easily be back in the lineup today. Ledmus Diaz is affordable. Alvarez is on fire. Brantley's a solid cog in the machine.
Myers is 2,500. It's cheap. Maldonado might be really cheap. Yeah, Houston's definitely in play for me here. I'm mad I didn't end up using them yesterday because they were great again, but in that 6-3 game that you're talking about against the Royals, they scored 3 runs in extra innings, and they hit the ball hard all game off Mike Minor. Just, didn't really come to fruition. Runs, that is. I could tell, though, that they were about to start, and then they lit up Kikuchi. They lit up Logan Gilbert. They've lit up the Mariners bullpen. I definitely like Houston here. They're right up there with those other teams.
Yeah, I think even talking about them, I might like them a little bit more than when we started, just because I think they deserve a lot of attention and they aren't getting it. And to use a Bellman point, they're actually really good.
I 100% agree with that point. And a guy I really like, if I had to pick like one favorite, would be Jordan.
Yeah, he's good. And he's not going to get any love today, lefty on lefty.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you. Hearing you talk about it makes me like them a little bit more for sure. And I will say, to give you a little praise now, a guy you've talked about a bunch, like Brawl. I see St. Louis getting a lot of love. Brawl's been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm never excited about a chalkier St. Louis. They're just not that good. You getting a one-off of Tyler O'Neill or something like that? Sure, gotcha. Brault has pitched well this year. I probably just won't use a chalky St. Louis.
I won't either.
Really, that game's Wainwright or nothing for me. So let's move over to here. We mentioned Hernandez gets a lot of love. And the Cubs are another one. Like, maybe you don't want to necessarily stack them. Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't mean you can't use some cheap pieces. We got Frank Schwindel playing first at only 2,300. Wisdom was a wise play yesterday with a home run. Matt Duffy could be in the lineup at 2,300. I probably won't personally go all in on the Cubs, but I could definitely use a piece or two against a Chalky Hernandez.
Yeah, this is definitely like a leverage stack. All those same guys are in there. Ortega leading off 3,300. For me, I wish there were expensive pitch hitters to use, like that I liked. I don't really like Valdez at like a 10K price tag. And I like Wainwright, but I don't feel like I have to force Wainwright in. I've been on Alcantara a couple times recently. I don't feel that way about him today. And then after that, there's no one like expensive. So I don't know.
It's hard to get excited about Alcantara on the road.
He's coming off of he pitched really well on the road in San Diego a couple starts ago. But again, he has good road starts, but he also has struggled on the road. And this is such a bad ballpark downgrade for him.
Yeah, since he's a joke by comparison. So, and again, I don't love Valdez at 10K either, but I feel pretty comfortable with him getting you 15 to 25 today, which I can't say about the chalk pitchers.
I agree with that. And like, if I'm just like picking pitchers, I guess he's probably in there. I guess these are the two pitchers if price tag wasn't a thing. Even still,
again,
if you stack the Cubs here, you're still going to have tons of money left over. The Cubs are going to get no love because of that.
Yeah, or even just pull a couple of these pieces, like pull at Schwindel. There's a couple other guys that were super cheap. Who was it?
Happ's not really cheap, but I like Happ.
Ian Happ?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a couple other guys from a few other teams that we had kind of mentioned that were really, really inexpensive. Detroit. Detroit's got a 2K leadoff hitter against the chalky MATZ. then all of a sudden now we're cooking with fire because we're up to 4,500 per offensive guy, and you can start making some good moves.
The other thing I like about Detroit, and it kind of makes me feel the same way about Houston, this is the third lefty they're seeing in a row. Not that these guys are the same. You got Robbie Ray, Ryu, and then Matt, but still 3 lefties in a row. Like I feel like that's good for the Detroit hitters. In Houston, this is their 3rd lefty in 4 games, so I also like that for them.
Yeah, if you play like Hill, Jones, Schwindel, who are all guys capable of giving you points, like now you can just stack whoever you want. You're at 5K per offensive guy.
For sure. So, yeah.
Okay. Just to recap pitchers real quick. I think I got Wainwright as my guy. And then it gets pretty wishy-washy for me. I could easily use Valdez and play down for a couple guys. If anything, I would probably use Hernandez over Matz today only because of what it gives me from an offensive end. Not that I don't think Matz is the better pitcher, but it's just like there's 2,300 in cap savings there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also really thinking about Lopez also. And, man, I also like the Tampa stack. It's definitely a classic one of those. I just don't really like any pitchers on the slate. I've always been a fan of Lopez's stuff. I think for me, as much as I don't think he's good and it's fluky, I'll go to Gutierrez over Matz.
Works for me. Steven Matz should never be whatever he's going to be, 50% today?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's just not that guy.
No, he's not. He's not a big strikeout guy. Give me a couple Detroit bats against him.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, guys, that's what we got for today. Good luck. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.